Welcome back, folks, to the Get a Grip on Lighting podcast. It is my pleasure today to have Alan Karen, VP of Sales, Alan?
Yes.
VP of Sales of Satco Products in studio with me. Hey, Greg, how's it going?
I'm good. Good to have you.
So
Thanks,
before
Alan.
we start the show, we just finished a great podcast with Alan. But before we start it, we want to tell you that this episode of the show is brought to you by the National Association of Innovative Lighting Distributors, of which all of us are members.
Yes.
And of course, this episode is brought to you by Satco, SATCO.com, baby. That's Satco.com. We do the light thing. We do the right thing, baby.
Michael, who's better than you?
What's up, Alan? Tell us about this new product.
All is good. All is good. Well, it was great. Greg, Michael, thank you for having me here today. It's just, it's great. It's great. I'm glad to be here. So Satco is introducing, everyone's familiar with the high pro lamps.
Sure.
That really what the very technical term of corn cobs.
Sure.
So this has been not only for Satco, but for the industry, very, very popular category of product replacing high-intensity discharge lamps, whether it's metal halide, high-pressure sodium, mercury vapor. But it's also replaced some high-wattage CFLs, and this has a mogul base, but some of the medium base have replaced high-wattage incandescent lamps.
Sure.
So you're getting over 80% energy saving. What's unique about this is, and this can be used indoor, outdoor, great for wall packs, shoebox fixtures, high bay fixtures, but you have the ability to control the direction of the light. So this available in 3 different color temperatures, 27, 4, and 5. It actually at 70 watts puts out over 10,000 lumens, 50,000 hour life on it. And a 5-year warranty.
There you go. Boom.
So the nice thing is, in a high bay fixture, you have the ability to take this product, and if there's a reflector inside, you can have light going up and down.
You know what I like about this product?
Tell me.
Right off the bat. So I like that it's mechanically adjustable. Now, what I mean by that is there's no button to push. There's nothing. The electrician can screw it in and flip it to the direction he needs to flip it to, right? And that is very intuitive, actually, because some other things where you have to turn a screw thing or a knob, or you got to get into like a nut. Oh, I don't have this type of hex head in my box, right? That's actually really, really good. And the way it does it goes back and forth with good product.
So what's interesting also is if you were going to put this into a shoebox application, you also have to realize that you have to be able to screw it into the fixture, right?
Sure.
So you have the ability now. It's almost the shape of sort of a traditional HID lamp, right? So then once you screw it in, and what's also interesting is it has a ratcheted socket.
Okay.
So once you screw it in, then you can point it so that your light is actually heading all down when you're doing a horizontal installation on it.
Makes it dark sky friendly right there.
So the other part of it is and we do have some accessories coming. So we are going to have an app on this where you're going to be able to put it in the center of this and it'll work off your phone for motion sensing, photo cell. So this is brand new. So this isn't out yet.
Not even on the website, unveiled first on the Get a Grip on Lighting podcast, folks.
Only for Michael and Greg.
Yeah.
You know,
and our wonderful audience. So
yes.
Go to Satco.com. That's SATCO.com, baby. That's Satco.com. We do the right thing. We do the right thing. Hey, folks, we're here in studio with Alan Karen from Satco. Hello, Alan.
Good morning, Michael. Good morning, Greg.
Oh, he doesn't even need to be asked.
Alan.
Oh.
I'm here. He knows how to do it.
I'm excited to be here. Here I am. I show up at Atlas Lighting, and now I'm in the studio.
You're in studio. Yeah, I dragged him in here. I showed him, the humble abode, introduced him to the peeps, and now the final, the pièce de résistance is you got to sit down in the studio. We're going to get Greggy on the phone, and we're going to record a show.
All right, excellent.
That's where we're at.
So we were talking a little bit as we were walking around, and I was listening to you about how much has changed in the last 6 years, Alan. It's really incredible. Actually.
Incredible. You know, it's very interesting. Being part of NAILD and being a privately owned entity creates a lot of challenges, but also creates a lot of opportunities. Mm-hmm. Not only being nimble as a company and being able to react quick to market changes, but gives you opportunities. Not that I would ever knock any competitor, But when you look at some of the larger companies that are within the lighting industry, it's not so easy for them to turn the ship. And for us, we don't have a lot of levels of management or hierarchy in our company. It's a very open company. And, from when we started out, and I'm going on my 25th year with Satco now. And
wow, congratulations.
Thank you. And it just seems like yesterday. But, we were always this more of a value-branded company.
Sure.
And a large percentage of our business was focused on specialty light bulbs. We were always into electrical accessories, and we actually still do provide several thousand SKUs of products that can be used to manufacture lamps, from candle covers to sockets.
Yes. That's right. I noticed that on the site.
And still a good business for us. But what's interesting is where, let's say, lamps were 95% of our sales 8 or 9 years ago, today my business is almost split 50% on fixtures or luminaires and 50% on lamps.
Huh.
So
that's something I want to dive into for sure.
Okay.
But what year was Satco started?
Satco was started in 1966.
Okay, so I can't do math real quick, but 50 some years, 95% of it was lamps?
Yeah, 47, 46 years, something like that. Pretty quick. Okay. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And then now it's going to about 50-50. And
it is.
Do you feel that's a right move, or do you think replaceable components and lamps are a better move for people upgrading to LED right now?
So what's interesting is it is. I don't know if whether it's the right or wrong move. It's the necessary move. What's interesting is that as a company today, and both of you own companies that are in competitive industries with emerging technology and LED, and everyone wants to be in that arena, right? Mm-hmm. We still support, and a lot of your business is still on legacy product. Mm-hmm. So, we're, as a company, as long as we're allowed to manufacture, whether it's incandescent, halogen, fluorescent, HID, we're happy to supply that product. We're happy to supply whatever product a consumer or distributor or project needs, as long as it's the right product for the right application. The term out there, the sockets are going away, the rush to the socket. I don't know if we still provide a lot of T12 lamps out in the marketplace.
I believe it.
And I think as a lighting distributor today, as the way I look at the business, you need to be a resource. So I want to be able to give the options out there. So if someone's looking to replace the entire fixture, I want to have that fixture available.
Sure.
Now, you do have a lot of people that say, well, I want to replace the fixture, but I don't want an integrated LED in there. I want to be able to have options in changing the lamps. Okay, I want to be the manufacturer that can provide them that solution. If someone wants to just do a retrofit, whether they're still switching from a fluorescent to a T-LED, whether they're doing plug and play or a ballast bypass, I want to be able to supply them that. If they still want to replace that T8 or T5 in a fluorescent, I want to be able to supply that.
Well, you talked about the, I think it was, do you remember Alan Nelkin?
Sure, of course.
Great guy.
Yes.
I never bought anything from Halco.
Okay.
Because, just didn't ever, the relationship couldn't grow.
Okay.
But we were good friends. I enjoyed his company, and he was on the board with me of Nailed. And he was the first person to say to me it was the race for the socket. Now, I don't know if he made that up, but he was the first person to say that to me. And I think in 2019, it's a race from the socket now. Because there's so many people that are like, whoa, who put that in there? I'm out of here. It's burning out or whatever. This idea, like that race to the socket was like this collective cascade bias that flowed through the industry that there's never going to be replacement lamps again. Once you put this bulb in there, that's it. It's over. Once you put this fixture, you're never going to think. And so now what we're seeing, I think, is a kind of hangover from that. We've lost a lot of people in the business. There's lots of dead bodies.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So is it time for Satco to step over some of those dead bodies?
Well, you know what? You know what's interesting in all of this? I turn around and I look at this business, and it's become challenging for all of us. But there's a tremendous amount of opportunity as well. Michael, we were talking before, and where I really lived in the lamp world my entire life, and I could remember battling on an A19 over a half a penny.
Sure.
Sure. It's interesting when you think about that today.
Sure.
And Greg, when you talk about our fixture business, and we're both in two categories of fixtures. So we're on the commercial / industrial end of it, and we're on the decorative end of it. And we've always been in decorative product, but in '05 we launched our brand Nouveau lighting, and that's what all of our lighting is under today, and that's what's about 50% of our business. And the decorative is great. We love that multifamily, the homeowner,
Sure.
A good, better, best offering. The commercial end of it, which was interesting, is that, a large part of our business there and a larger part of our out of that 50%, a larger part of that percentage is in flat panels and center basket lay-ins and it's the troffers. It's incredible. So I think the market has changed, and everyone has an opportunity if you work hard.
Sure.
And you develop the relationships. I happen to think, you look at your businesses today, I just think that there's a huge amount of opportunity to, number one, be able to digest the information, be able to get the information out to your customers. The days of, and I don't want to say, hey, when you had the major brands out there and they own the specification, today when a company like Satco, and we're actually at the Energy Star Partner Conference right now in Charlotte, we have several people there. But when you look at the resi side, we have Energy Star on as many products as we can get. And then when you go to the commercial side, we go after that DLC, Design Lighting Consortium, going on as well. And what's also interesting is today for us as a company, we have a couple of people at NEMA. Okay. And I will tell you that 10, 15 years ago, we wouldn't have been at the table with NEMA, I don't think. But today, we're at the table and they're actually listening to us about, hey, these are the things that as a manufacturer we're experiencing within the marketplace. So I have to tell you, whether it's 25 years or 5 years, it's exciting. It's a lot of opportunities out there.
You've got the decorative fixtures, and I get that you have to do the Energy Star. And typically when you do a decorative fixture that's Energy Star, it's a built-in LED. But I love sockets, screw-in sockets that you can replace, and you can still do them. And this is not necessarily an advertorial for Nouveau, but you guys do a great job of that because you actually have the option. You say, here's your built-in version that's Energy Star,
right?
Or here's your incandescent socket, and screw an LED in. That's what I do probably 9 times out of 10 for customers of mine.
I just did an apartment building. Unfortunately, it wasn't Nouveau, but it would have been a product Nouveau.
But next time you can.
So the guy was sitting to me, and he comes to me. He's like, "I'm sick of these." He had these. Remember those faux alabaster glass fixtures that with the little thing you pull out that were super popular like 15 years ago? Everybody had those. I don't know. It was like the hot thing, faux alabaster glass, right? Okay. So he had a bunch of those in his building with, a double twin tube, 2 double twin tubes in them or whatever. And he's like, I'm so sick of these damn CFL ballasts. I want to go LED. I don't want to change any more light bulbs, right? And da-da-da. So he's got a bunch of different guys in there. And he's got these purpose-built fixtures with the array. And I said, you know what, man, if you're being honest with me, I agree with, if we're going to be honest here, I agree with you on the ballast. But you're going to have burnouts on that LED eventually too if you're running it 24/7 in an apartment building corridor.
Oh, for sure.
Right. And it's going to be a lot harder than buying those 2 CF26 ballasts with the screws on the back. You know what I'm talking about, Greg? They're going to be very difficult to find parts. You're better off with a screw-in socket. And that is the right solution for that guy. Now, I don't know if it's always the right solution, but for him, for his problem, that was the right solution. So I agree with you. I want to ask you something here because I actually I'm going to change a little gear away from technology and talk more about where the industry is at. Greg coaches football, right? Mm-hmm. He's a football coach. Okay, I'm a hockey coach. Yep. Do you coach any sports for your kids or anything like that?
I am an avid soccer fan for both of my kids. So.
Okay, so when I coached hockey for my kid, and you'll recognize this from football and soccer as well, I would tell my son and the other players on the team, I'd say, you know what? Don't be in your position defensively, but when you're on offense, look for the seams. And my son would be like, "What's a seam?" And I said, a seam is a break in the defense. It's a place where you can move through at full speed or that the play can glide through and the defense will collapse in behind it. Right. Look for the seams. There is a ton of seams in the lighting business right now.
There are.
that are just opening up like this, and they kind of open and they close, but if you time it right, like say start a podcast on lighting in 2016, you can blast through a seam. You know what I'm saying? I'm serious. Like you can blast right through a seam, and next thing you know, whatever happens. Where is Satco's seam? Because I think that there's a real place for one of the nailed vendors that's been around a long time, that's been in that sort of tier 2 category, like a Satco, below the big 3. I think there's a huge seam for people just to drive right into that gap.
So it's interesting. It's interesting you brought up the tier 1, tier 2. So I could remember early
tier
on.
6. No,
I could remember early on in this business that, I would go to some of these associations.
Sure.
Nailed was different, obviously, because in the day that was the independent lighting distributor.
Sure.
As well as the innovative lighting distributor today. But I could go to an NAD and actually go into a distributor, and they would tell me, I'm a single source lamp supplier. I don't buy lamps from any other companies.
Sure.
If someone said that today, you can't do that today. It's impossible to do that
Very
today.
difficult, man.
I will tell you also, Satco been very fortunate to gain placement in buying groups with some of the larger worldwide electrical distributors that we have programs with. And because of the changes in the business out there, where you mentioned not that I want to be tier 2 to anyone, but we really have moved in to a tier 1 position. And what's interesting about this business is, years ago, as much as it really didn't change, we had an incandescent bulb, 125-year-old technology that didn't change. It's flipped today. The days of what you do for your customer, we have to do for the distributor. If we're not turning around and being willing to drop ship or break a case pack or just source things for you, that's a big thing that we do today. I think some of the larger companies became very rigid in how they did their business, and then passed that rigidity down to the distributor. And I think because we came in with a new approach that, hey, we understand what you need to do for your business, and that's how it's evolved today. And then, listen, obviously, the LED changed everything, and it's if you have those designations from qualifying your product for testing, what's the difference today? So, and also with all due respect to a GE Phillips in Sylvania, those names aren't out there in the market today. So you're buying a Leadvance or a Signify or Undercurrent. So. It's just a different marketplace.
Totally.
So yeah, brand doesn't seem to be, excuse me, as important as it used to, but I still feel there is value in it. And that's what I guess I'm going to ask you. We'll bring some real world experience here, Alan, is that I had a customer today that I talked to that kind of is indicating they're going to go towards another company. And I know this company is importing product direct from China and slapping their name on it. And it's not a name brand, nothing that's going to be backed if there are issues down the road. So as a distributor trying to sell a quality product like a Satco, how can we go to our end users and define what quality product is? How a Satco brand is different than an import? So give us your spiel on that.
Okay, Greg. And we battle this. It's very interesting in working for a company that's 54 years old. It's interesting when I
think it starts with that.
Well, that's a key point.
Yep.
And one of it, what's interesting is sometimes working for a company that by the same ownership also, because you brought up a company before where there's been a lot of consolidation and equity investment groups, and we still have the same values from when our founders started the company. So being in business 54 years is one thing, and what's a little frustrating for me is sometimes I have to now defend myself against some other company that's been around for 6 months at some sort of price. I actually shared a scenario with Michael this morning when he was nice enough to give me a tour of his operation here, that there was a very well-known company out there that provided product that had a niche in the market, got spec'd. It was impressive, the job that they did, but they're no longer in business. And now the distributor, he had nothing to do in the sale of it. He didn't specify it, but he did do business with the end user, and the end user came to him to get that product. Now the product's failing. The manufacturer is no longer available. And if that distributor wants to continue to have a relationship with that end user, it's out of his pocket. The specifier is nowhere to be found anymore. And that's the big struggle out there. I think any customer, the people that come to you to buy product, the first thing is they're buying from you because of the business that you have, your reputation, your knowledge, how long you've been around. Greg, I don't know how long you've been around, but 1977 since for Atlas, right? I think that's a big 91. So that's that in itself. How many of these other companies, these other 21 companies around here, how many of them are in business for 5 years?
None of them have been in business.
You know the amazing thing is
none of them have been in Canada for 5 years.
How many companies offer warranties for a longer period of time than they've been in business?
We've been in business for 377,000 hours.
Right.
How you like them apples?
So you're way past the 50,000 hour. So I think it comes down to your relationship with your distributor and then the relationship that you have with your suppliers. For us, it's very interesting. We have a new tagline at the company. We do the light thing. Yeah. We do the right thing. And I have to tell you.
This guy's going into a full-blown Satco
I know. Sorry about that.
Here, eh?
Well, you keep asking me these things, and, but it goes back to.
Kind of have to relate it.
Yeah, well, it's through it. It's 25 years. What do you want me to do? But it's always, your customer has to know that, hey, it's not about the price. It's about, listen, you got to be competitive in the marketplace. You have to offer quality products, and you have to be there that if there is an issue, that you're going to do the right thing to take care of it, whatever the cost.
Right. And then another issue I run into is the apples-to-apples comparison of product, too, because all the product can look similar on cut sheets and on pictures, but there are a lot of differences. And really to point those out, I think, is what's important is dive in and figure out if the company has a legitimate cut sheet.
Right.
So on that question, Alan, what is on a legitimate cut sheet? What should we be looking for from manufacturers? What characteristics should a product have that we need to know?
TM30.
So I will tell you, in our we've as a company, and I think all companies today need to invest a lot in data. I mean that's first and foremost because of how electronic everything.
What I'm doing out there.
How electronic everything is coming, and I think the electrical industry has a little bit of the best reputation.
No, the electrical industry is the electrical components and plumbing industries are like 15 years behind every other industry in terms of online presence and sales. But there's a reason for that.
And what's that?
Lighting is an incredibly complicated world, and it's made intentionally complicated.
No, I think it was made intentionally complicated to preserve certain manufacturers' products within.
How long did the big three resist NEMA standardization of the lamp codes?
Right.
How long did they resist that? Like, it's so obvious. Like the ballasts are all NEMA standard, fluorescent ballasts, right? And the lamps are made, but there's a difference between.
They all had their own nomenclature. I gotcha.
Like this was intentionally done in order to confuse the market and resist commoditization.
I don't know, Greg. For us, and
now we're in an age of commoditization.
Right, I think so. I mean, you're getting. Listen, everyone's going to have the color temperature, the life, the warranty, the wattage, the color temperatures. I think there's a basic amount of information, and as well as all the icons. Everyone really is doing as many, whether it's rated for fully enclosed fixtures, whether it's Energy Star, whether it's dimmable, whether it's damp or wet location. So I think there is a standardization going on. And as much, we want to try to provide as much information on a specification sheet, as well as, we as a company, and I think now because of the technology, just embracing IES files. Sure. That's important as well. But I mean, it's, we're also in the electronics industry. We didn't, there were, it wasn't where you were dealing with UL on an incandescent lamp years ago. And now, whether it's UL, ETL, and then the quality, whether you're going to have CSA. So it's very important to have all of that information. I think anyone in the business, they're going to be doing that as well.
Okay. So I'm typing up questions here for you.
Okay.
I just got so many, I don't even know where to start. No, the first thing I want to say is, like, you talked about the electronics business. Okay. And from 2000, so I have a BlackBerry. Okay. So everybody always says, like, oh, BlackBerry screwed up and BlackBerry got killed by Apple. And let's face it, BlackBerry killed Goliath 16 times in a row. They took out Palm Pilot, Ericsson, Nokia,
Right.
Major U.S. and foreign European companies, a little tiny company in Waterloo, okay? Then they got smashed by the Goliath of Steve Jobs. Hey, other people got smashed by that guy as well. But from 2006, from the release of the iPhone to about 2014, we saw major innovation in this space. Massive changes. Things got better and better and better. And then I think in lighting, from 2013 or 2011 till today, we have just had a massive influx of innovation.
Absolutely.
Like crazy amounts of changes. Like how many different versions of a T8 have there been since 2012?
Right.
I mean, think that is crazy. And then you mix into that Johnny come lately in the lighting marauders, okay, which, we interviewed one the other day on the podcast. He knows everything about lighting because he went to China last week.
Okay.
Right? That's why I called him Johnny come lately in the lighting marauders. I know. Right? They join the party and they leave and all that sort of stuff.
Did he sing while he was here?
He was a thing. You know what? He did a little song and dance for us, but it got smashed because he ran into, and this is my point, was that, Alan, everybody has the paper with the stuff written on it, right? I got my paper. This is what it says. Look at what my paper says, but they don't have the soul, brother.
They don't.
They don't have the soul. And I feel like that's what the companies like Satco are. They have the soul in the business, deep roots, long time committed to lighting. And these guys fly in here and they have the paper looks the same and everything looks the same. But I don't think that's to me, that's where the customer, somehow we have to show our true colors, our commitment to this industry to the customers. And that's where the distributor vendor relationship is so key.
I absolutely. I think also, you talk about relationship. We've advanced so much in technology today, and that between emails and texting, listen, I've been doing this a long time. Maybe I'm a bit old school. I didn't think I'd get to the point where I'm old school. I travel a lot for the simple reason that I think the face-to-face is important. I think that, when I can look at both of you and I can shake your hand when I come in the door and I can meet the staff here, they know that there's someone behind the company. And I think our business through perseverance, hard work, showing up and following up, that's the differentiating factor that's out there. It just and then I think, but you still have to run your business. You have people outside showing up at customers' doors. You have to have stock on product.
You got Sharon there making outbound calls to people. Hey, you want 50% energy savings, more light in a government rebate. You want us to come by? This kind of stuff all day long, right?
I think it was very interesting. We'll bring it, not to bring it like if you were to bring up Jeff from AM Electric, right? And I know Greg for a long time.
Sure.
And it was exciting to see Jeff at Nailed. I really hadn't met him before. And it's like he got that next gen in there. And I thought, hey, listen, this guy, he can do this business like his dad did it, and go out there and probably take it to the next level. And that's what successful family, privately, next generation businesses do. And they learn from the founders of there's a roots to the business. And it's great to embrace the technology, but you still can't forget that, hey, you got to go out there and knock on some doors and show up and make someone feel comfortable that, hey, you know what, I can do business with this guy and he's going to be available.
You hear about, you ever heard the term artificial lighting? You ever heard that, artificial lighting? Like people talk about this is artificial lighting, and then Dr. Jennifer Veach comes in here and says there's no artificial lighting. There's only electric light. There's nothing artificial, right? And it's either light or it's not, right? But then you hear this term like artificial intelligence, right? You hear something like that, and you think I don't need artificial intelligence. What you need is to be able to press hands together with another person sometimes, to look them in the eye. That can never be replaced.
It can't, but that's the original way of doing business. That's how it started. I think it needs to be still a component of it, but I do think you have to embrace the technology to try to take the business to the next level, because you just can't live on what did work. So if AI can add some value into it, if an email or a text,
Sure.
hey, Michael, I text you when I land and I'm going to be over here.
Sure.
You know, I didn't have to call you on the phone to get to the receptionist, to get to,
sure.
you know.
We're in
so-
a technology hyperzone. You're sitting in a podcast studio looking at Greg in
Right,
Minneapolis right now in real time.
Seems like
over
he's
the
right
internet.
here.
Hey, seriously. Like, it's pretty incredible, actually.
In fact, he's ahead of us an hour.
Exactly.
That's right.
Something like, or
Well,
behind.
behind us an
He's
hour.
behind
You're
us an
behind
hour.
us.
Behind, yeah.
He's always
That's
behind
true.
us, yeah.
Yeah, he's always little. Okay.
You know, Alan, Greg, you got anything else for Alan?
Hey, you want to know? You know, we spoke on technology, and you brought up the BlackBerry.
Sure.
And when you initially, and I was a BlackBerry guy. I liked when you pushed those buttons on there. It took me a while. I then went to a Droid.
Sure.
And I support an iPhone, Apple Watch today because my tech guy in the office is Apple, and I need to be connected. And if there's an issue, I need him to be able to fix it. But I will tell you, par lamps, like when you were talking about BlackBerry and how far technology has come, the par lamp we sell it today like 20% of the price that we sold it 7-8 years ago.
crazy.
A par lamp.
Sure.
And that's across all verticals or of types of lamps that were, whether it was, the corn cobs
Sure.
or whether it's the tubes. So that in itself, just managing that end of that curve to be able to filter through product and
This
bring
is where you're
next
talking about the
generations in.
electronics business. So what do you know about the electronics business? Every 18 months, the price goes in half and the performance goes up.
Right.
By 50%, the price goes down by 50%.
I don't know. It seems like every 3 months in our industry.
Okay, how about, have we bottomed out on that though?
I don't think so. I still think there's
room to go
another
down.
12 to. I mean, A lamps are pretty low. Your A lamps now are less than where CFLs are at. I still think there's some enhancements, improvements. I guess some manufacturing efficiencies.
I
that
think
can
there's
still
a
be
lot
captured.
to learn about making electric light still. A lot.
I think so.
Right?
And you got OLEDs, which I'm not versed in at all,
Yeah,
but
sure.
that's the next stage.
We
once-
have all the scientists come in here that want to come on the show. We love scientists. And one of the things they're talking about is the infrared created by incandescent has a significant amount of health benefits. Right? And it's like, what the heck? Like, that guy came in and said that to us. And it's like, what are you talking about? He's like, yeah, the spectrum goes like this. Some of it's visible, some of it's not. But all the light still hits you. Just because you can't see it doesn't mean it doesn't affect you. Right? And it's like, it's kind of like your soul. Just because you can't see it doesn't mean it ain't there. And doesn't mean it doesn't need to be cared for. Alan, Karen, thank you for coming in studio, man. Thank you for coming to visit me.
My pleasure. Greg, thank you. Michael,
you.
thank you. This was great.
Yeah,
Appreciate
it was fun as heck.
Good deal.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening, folks. But you got to go to satco.com. That's SATCO.com, baby. We do the right thing. We do the light thing. Greggy, come on, man. Tell us about this new product that Alan's holding on to right
That
here.
thing was pretty awesome. Yeah, I just learned about it today on the show, as did a lot of other people. But what I like about it, in addition to what was talked about before, the adjustability is awesome, but it can fit just about every outdoor fixture there is. Because what do you have outdoor? You have area lights, you have wall packs, you have floods, you have recessed cans. That thing can go in a recessed can. You flip that upside down, that's a par lamp. You cut out the HID, you turn it like that, and what do you got? It's a par lamp. Put it in a recessed
You got
can.
a downlight.
So, it
Greg,
can do everything.
perfect. So, just as everyone knows, these high pro lamps, technically known as corn cobs within our industry, really have just tremendous energy savings, high lumen output, indoor-outdoor usage, instant on, 50,000 hour life, 5-year warranty. And the beauty on this, as Greg said, is, it just about fits anywhere.
Beautiful.
Awesome.
And folks, remember, this show is really the soul. This comes from the soul of an association that all three of us belong to. And that association is called the National Association of Innovative Lighting Distributors. If you're listening to this and you're a lighting distributor, and what a lighting distributor is somebody who has stock of light bulbs in a warehouse and sells them wholesale or to the general public on the order desk, counter sales, or over the internet. So if you do that and you're listening to this and you're not a member of this association, your voice is not at the table. So that means you need to go to neild.org and you need to sign up and join NAILD. And you can meet the wonderful people at Satco, like Alan Karen, and you can meet all of our other vendors and all the other members. And then we can start to build an industry consensus from the lighting distributors, from people who sell light bulbs every day. And that voice is needed now more than ever. So if you think you don't need to be a member of NAILD, you're wrong. This is your association and you're not in it. You need to join. So go to NAILD.org. And of course, we thank Alan Karen for coming on the show. Alan, thanks
Michael,
for coming in
Greg,
studio.
thank you so much. This was great. Love doing it, and can't wait to do it again.
Yes, for sure. That's Alan Karen, Satco.com, SATCO.com. We do the right thing. We do the light thing. Thanks for listening, folks.
Written on the rectory wall, there's a sign there for all. You are lost, Lord is there to find you.